In the following, we're going to take a look at the triple jump and in particular the differences between the men's and women's event. The video will conclude with a look at Yulimar Rojas, one of the women's top exponents of the event, and this will showcase some potential way forwards and different ways to look at how females could triple jump. I'm John Shepherd, and this is a subject that I've been wanting to cover for quite some time, particularly as in the last year or so I've had some female triple jumpers join the group. And more so than the long jump, there are distinct differences between the female and male versions of the triple jump. I'm going to start by looking at the technique of a Belgian triple jumper, Sietska, who came to train with us in the early season, and in doing so present some of the differences between male and female triple jumpers. The key to the hop phase in the triple jump, regardless of whether you're male or female, is the extension of the free leg away from the hip at the takeoff and the circling of the hopping leg to the forefront. The free leg also needs to drop long after the takeoff below the body. As indicated, this will elongate the rotation of the hopping leg and the length of the hop. The free leg needs to swing vigorously into the step phase to continue forward momentum. And ideally, the thigh needs to be parallel to the ground and held before the foreleg is extended into the jump contact. One of the issues that female triple jumpers can have is not being in such a well-balanced position as the men achieve when using a double arm shift action. However, there's also another crucial element in this debate, and that's the amount of power that can be generated by using a double arm shift, and as that relates to the differences between males and females' strength and power abilities, of which more later. In producing this video, I did some research, and I did discover some that indicated that the step frequency of male triple jumpers is greater than females when approaching the takeoff point. Also, that males may prepare more for the takeoff than females. Consequently, it could be argued that they leave the hop phase with greater velocity, notwithstanding the differences between males and females vis-a-vis their speeds. On the screen now, you're going to see a snippet of the research that I've been quoting from, and I'll also put a reference up on the screen for it. It's the first time that I've seen a scientific explanation for the reasons why women use a single arm action preferentially compared to males, and they're often double arm methods. Put simply, it basically boils down to the inability of females to generate as much force as males. Therefore, they transition much more quickly between their phases with less contact time, and are therefore unable to generate the same amount of lift and vertical components of the phases compared to males. A recommendation could therefore be to work on increasing, I would say, eccentric strength capability, also the fluency and velocity and cadence coming into the takeoff, and also to experiment with double arm actions in order to try to beat this potential deficit. I have added this example of Yulimar Rojas in order to showcase some of the potentialities for changing certain things with the female triple jump. Rojas is apparently one of the few jump-dominated female triple jumpers, and you can see that in her approach run she generates more cadence than a number of other women at the point of the hop takeoff. Therefore, she's more likely to carry more speed through the phases, and also by jumping with a slightly shorter hop phase compared to others, keep velocity going through the entire three phases, with the end result being the potential for a longer jump phase. In fact, it's close to 6 meters. Also, following on from some of the points made earlier, we can see that potentially she's setting up the hop slightly differently to other female triple jumpers. It looks like there's a little bit of a set before going into the hop phase. And you can see the acceleration through the phases, obviously with some loss of speed. Note Rojas' velocity for the step phase. This is exemplified here by comparisons with Alison, who's decelerating. Rojas also cycles her lead arm round, which is something that I've not been in favour of because I believe that it can pull the hopping leg down too quickly. However, if you're going to use a jump-dominated model, doing that and everything else being equal is potentially the case that this method accelerates the step contact. I've concluded with a few freeze frames of Rojas with some comments on them to exemplify some of the other factors that could be worked on to improve distance achieved, whether male or female. In doing some further research for this video, I found some very interesting information that relates to muscular development in females, and in particular how their hip angle and the angle in particular of the thigh bone can affect the muscular development and their ability to express force, also relating to the elasticity of the tendons and how females are less able compared to men to generate force in that respect. Other research indicated a great emphasis on the lateral portion of the foot on the contact, and that got me thinking as to whether or not there's anything that you could specifically do in training to actually promote that contact. Also, if I understood it correctly, according to the female's anatomy, it's potentially the case that they have a lower centre of gravity and are therefore less able to lift their centre of mass through the phases compared to men. And this is often used, or has been used, as a reason why women shouldn't do a double arm action. However, if you think about it, if you can improve ground contact, reaction, force absorption and therefore power, approach the board with more speed, then there will be a significantly greater opportunity to employ a successful double arm action. Sports scientists have suggested that a jump-dominated triple jump may well suit a faster and less strong jumper. And it's interesting to note that many male world bests and records have been set with a jump-dominated distance. Working on the hip extensors and hip flexors, and in particularly eccentrically, can also be beneficial. I'm going to revisit this subject in some future videos, but hopefully the information provided in this one will act as a way of thinking about how change can be made for females triple jumping. As usual, thanks for watching and good luck with your training and competition, and do subscribe to the channel.